everybody, welcome back to Real Good Pilates. I'm Michelle, and today I've got for you an intermediate advanced level full body Pilates Reformer workout. So to get warmed up, we are going to be standing up on top of our machine. So place your foot bar down. If you have a platform extender, that is great. If you don't, no worries. You can stand on your platform instead. So have on, I've got a blue spring, so kind of a medium tension so that it's more inner thigh focused to get warmed up. But if you want to go heavier and work more on your outer thighs, that would be good as well. Maybe like a red spring or something like that. So if you have a platform extender, you're going to place it on over the springs, and then we are going to get started. So stand facing sideways with the carriage in front of you. You're going to step up onto the solid side of your platform first, and then carefully put your weight onto the moving side. So we've got the feet split, one on either surface. Roll your shoulders back, root down into your feet, and just take a big breath in through your nose. And then exhale, we're going to nod the chin and just sequence through the spine to fold forward, not allowing our machine to move. Good. Once you reach the bottom, take an inhale. And then exhale, tuck under and roll through your spine to come back up tall. Good. And we'll do that again. Nodding the chin, letting the shoulder blades spread apart. Good, and just rolling through the spine, almost like a slinky going down the stairs, bit by bit, and then reverse that to come back up tall. Very good. Okay, now keep your legs long without them being hyperextended, and we're going to take some side splits. So breathe in and send the carriage out. Exhale to come back in. Now, depending on what spring choice you went with, you might not be pushing the carriage out as far as I am. Yes, heavier springs, you'll have a little smaller range of motion. Very good. So you're going out as far as you comfortably can, keeping your pelvis and spine nice and tall and neutral. Okay, so you don't want to feel like you're having to stick your tailbone out at the end of your range, but keep it nice and vertical. Right, do that a couple more times. So if you're on light springs, really focus on that squeeze in against the stopper with your carriage. If you've got heavier springs, focus more on the out where you get the increased spring tension. Very good. Okay, now you're going to press out to your kind of mid to largest stance. Hold here. Don't let the carriage move. You're going to bend the knees. You can bring your hands to your hips. Pull the feet together, end up in a deep squat, and then stand up. And then we'll do that again. So 1, we push out with straight legs. 2, we stabilize the carriage. Don't let it move. And then draw your feet together. Come in till you reach the bottom, and then stand up tall. Yes. Now you can keep this more slow and segmented, or if you can go with control, maybe speed up. Try to smooth each piece together. Very good. When you bend your knees, don't let the carriage move. That'll make it much more difficult. Last time. Knees over second toes. All right, now reverse it. Start in your squat, then push out to your wide squat. Now here's where the carriage stays still to straighten, and then come together. So we bend, we press away, and we stand up. Yes, you can lean slightly forward with your upper body, but not too much. Yes, keep a relatively tall back. Good. Let's do 2 or 3 more here, depending on how fast you're going. So good. So finding stability right on top of those legs. Good. Now the next time you get out to that big wide squat, you're going to hold, keep your carriage steady, and just take some little pulses up and down. The goal is to not let the carriage move underneath you. That's the hardest part, so keep it small and contained for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just bring the feet all the way together. Very good. All right, now we're going to get a little bit more movement for our spine before we turn around and do this on the other side. So let's learn this upper body movement with the legs still, and then we'll add in the legs. So you're just going to stand tall, reach your arms out wide to the sides. You're going to hinge at your hips, so flat back, lean over your legs, and then once you can't keep your back flat anymore, you're going to round, scoop your hands in like you're picking something up off of the ground. Stand up with your hands overhead. Now lift your chest, open the arms wide, and then take them back to the side. Palms are down. We'll do that again. So you hinge forward, take a breath in, exhale. Now almost like there was leaves on the ground. You kind of scoop up the leaves, stand up with them in your hands, and then you'd look up and drop the leaves on your face. And then you'd stand up and float the palms down. So that was a lot of different movements. Now we're going to increase the challenge by involving the legs. So arms are out. If you're on heavier springs and are struggling, you can always step your foot a little wider to make this more doable. So we press out as wide as we can hold the carriage still. Now don't move it, and we're going to take our same flat back. The hardest part is not moving the springs. We drop our head, we scoop the leaves up off the ground, stand up, and my carriage is still not moving. Now I pull my feet under me, lift my chest up, drop the leaves on my face, and then stand up. And we do that again. We can flow through it a little more now. So we press out, we hinge as we stabilize the lower body, keep the machine still, bring the feet together, extend your heart to the ceiling, and then return. One more time, push away, maybe send the carriage out a little extra. Feel that stretch of the hamstrings by tipping the pelvis. Very good. Feet come in, and then we lift and relax. Good. All right, step off the back of your machine. So we're going to do that all on the other side. I'm going to face you again. So once you're set up, you're going to step your new foot onto the solid platform, other foot to the moving side. Okay, very good. So let's just start with our side splits on this side since we're warmed up now. So we're going to push the carriage out, raise the arms out to our sides, and then control to come back in. Yes. So now that this is our second time going through these exercises, just kind of see what feels different. You can make some different choices to push yourself a little bit. Very good. Okay, now you're going to get out to your widest feet that you can control. Place the hands on your hips, bend the knees for the wide squat, pull into a narrow squat, and stand. 1, hold it steady. 2, come in. 3, and then 4. Good. For these ones, the taller you stay, it's actually more challenging on the legs. Yes, especially the ankle joints forces our ankles to have to bend a little bit more when we keep our body up. Out, in. Very good. Now let's reverse it. So we go down first, push out wide, stay still to stand, and come in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. 2 more times-ish. Get to your full stacked upright posture. Very nice. All right, now push out to your big wide squat, and we're going to hold steady and then pulse up and down. Take a peek at the carriage. Sometimes we think it's still, but it's really not. As still as possible. Chest is tall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the feet in and relax. Okay, now let's go into our hinge where we pick up the leaves off the floor. Since we already know it, let's just go right into using our legs. So our arms open, we push away, hinge forward. If you round your back too soon, you're going to lose a lot of hamstring stretch. So try to hinge flat until you can't anymore. Stand up, pull the feet in, lift your chest, and start over. 1, lean forward. 2, like your sitting bones are looking back at the wall behind you. Up, pull in, and open. Good. Let's just do one more. Yes, as we start to do more advanced exercises, there's a lot more moving parts, lots more coordination needed. Ah, very, very good. Okay, carefully step one foot and then the other off of the back. Okay, we don't need our platform extender anymore, so if you've got one, you can set it off to the side. Okay, next we're going to do a little mid-back series for our arms and our abs. So you can leave your foot bar down so we have a good range of motion. I'm going to do a red and a blue. You could absolutely do heavier than that or a little bit lighter. So 2 reds if you like heavier. And then lay yourself down and you're going to grab your straps. You can have your headrests adjusted however you like. Grab your loops. If you have a choice of loops, start in the shorter ones. Okay, here we go. So hold your back as neutral as you can. Float your legs up to tabletop. Take a breath in to get ready. And then we're just going to draw some arm circles to get our shoulders moving here. So we're going to breathe out and pull the arms by our sides. Inhale to circle out and up. Good. And you're just making the biggest circle that you comfortably can, as long as your hands stay just slightly above the height of your shoulders. Good. Let's do one more in this direction. Feel the opposition of your bottom rib staying on the mat. Now we reverse. We open first, pull to the hips, and then float up. Out, down, and up. Very good. So kind of simple coordination for now as we're just warming up here. Okay, so one last time. After you finish your last circle, pause with your arms up to the ceiling, and now we're just going to do some straight arm presses down and up. Very good. Nice, so feel wide across your chest. So now we're going to start adding in the legs. When your arms are up, stretch one leg forward as low as you can stabilize. Now as the arms lower, come back to tabletop. And then we do the other side. So it's nice to have the foot bar gone. That way we can get a nice low reach. Yes? Don't let the foot really go below the hip, but it can get almost there. All right, now if you'd like, when your arms pull down, you're going to curl up into a ball towards your knees and then release the head down as the leg stretches. So we go down with the leg reach, curl and come in. So good. Inhale, exhale. Do that 2 more times. Out and in. So good. Now pause with one leg straight, your head down and your arms up. Don't move the carriage and just switch, switch, switch the legs. Now, if you wanted to lift your head, you can, but I'm going to keep mine down. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come to tabletop and set one foot down at a time. Ooh, very good. Okay, so next, the arms are going to go out to a T. Right? So we kind of found this position in our circle, but now we're going to zero in on it. So this time the legs are going to float straight up. If you need to tuck under slightly in your spine, that is okay. All right, now a little bit funky. We're going to keep the legs straight up and pull the hands to the hips and then return. Exhale and then out. Good. So we have to really focus in on our hip flexors, deep down in our low abdominals with the legs reaching, and just as straight as you can get them. Okay, now just like with the arms up, we're going to start layering on, except it's going to be a scissoring pattern. So one leg is going to drop as the arms float apart and then return as they pull down. Inhale and exhale. Very good. You can always decrease the springs or change loops if you're getting tired. Very good. You also don't have to add on the next layer of activity. Now when the legs reach up, we're going to lift the head and shoulders and then release and lower. So it's the same coordination as last time, just different leg and arm position. And then lower. Very nice. 2 more. Curl, widen the shoulder blades. Now pause with the arms open, head down, legs split, and we switch, switch, switch. If you're having trouble, go higher hands. 4, 3, 2. Reach both legs up. Bend the knees and go feet down one by one. Whew. Okay, very good. All right, last thing here, just quick little mid-back series. We're gonna go for some triceps. So make sure your shoulders have a little breathing room away from the shoulder rests. Okay, so bend the elbows to 90, hover them off the mat if you can, and then tabletop the legs. Okay, so same kind of layering. We're gonna start with just the arms. Very good. And you can do palms facing forward, palms facing in, whatever helps you feel the triceps better. Okay, so now when the elbows are bent, both of our legs are going to straighten and then return. Totally backwards of what we're used to. Yes, if you feel your abdominals doming up or popping out, aim the legs higher or go back to the single leg. Very good. Now add the flexion of the spine in towards your knees. Nod the chin, curl, and lower. So good. Couple more times. Last two. Good. Last one. Now pause at the bottom. Elbows are bent and hovering. And now just do a couple more reps of the legs only. Ooh, that triceps burning. 3, 2, 1. Now pause in your tabletop and set the feet down. Whew. Oh, very good. Okay, hang your straps up, roll onto your side to come up. All right, so coming up, we're gonna do some single arm work. So we need some lighter springs. I'm gonna do just a single blue. You can decide what you would like to do. And we're gonna be kneeling in kind of a tricky position. So we're gonna have one foot forward on the headrest, kneeling down. If you don't feel comfortable here, feel free to go both knees down, sit your hips back, or even sit with your legs out in front of you, all right? So if you're coming up to the full position, hold the shoulder rests and step your left foot till your toes are on the headrest, and then scoot your bottom leg back until your knee is under hip and your foot will hang off of the carriage. Okay, your left hand will be on your thigh. You're going to reach down and grab the right strap in your right hand and hold it with a fist kind of towards the top of your loops. Okay, now you want to really be active in this front quad. So I'm going to be using my foot to kick into the headrest, and that's going to kind of lock in my lower body to be stable. Okay, if I don't do that, this knee can shoot forward, and we don't want that. So once you feel ready, draw the abs up and in. You're going to pull that straight arm back, leading with the pinky side of the hand, and then return. Very good. Nice. So making sure the hips aren't jutting forward, which is very possible in this staggered position. Good. Feel wide across the front and across the back of that shoulder. And if you need different range, you can change how high you're holding on the loop. Lower is lighter. Very good. Now pause with your arm forward. Keep this same grip, and you're just going to do kind of a hammer curl, pulling the thumb to the shoulder and then return. Good. Now you can change the height of the elbow to change the resistance, or move your hand along the strap. Very good. Nice. Keep the rib cage stacked right over the pelvis. Now let's alternate and try to smooth this out. So I stretch my arm to pull it behind me, and then I reach it forward and do a curl. Yes, try to keep constant motion on the springs to smooth that out. Very good. Good. Spreading the weight evenly between those two legs. Last time. Whew. Very good. All right, now pull your elbow behind your ribs, lean forward slightly without sitting your hips back too far. Now we're just gonna do some tricep kickbacks. Back and then in. Very good. So really push into the thigh with this hand. Good. So it's all about stabilizing the body on the feet and the knee. Good. Last two. Last one. All right, last thing here, I'm gonna hold with a regular grip inside. I'm gonna do my longer loop. You can decide. So bend your elbow, point your fingertips or your knuckles up to the ceiling. We're gonna punch up to the ceiling, lifting and lowering the hand. Now I'm not even fully extending my elbow. I'm just kind of puffing my arm up and down. Whew. Yes, if it gets all the way straight, you might kind of get stuck and lose your motion. Last one, lots of bicep and shoulder, whew, and then relax. All right, nicely done. Now grab the shoulder rests, switch, bring the front knee back, and transfer sides. Okay, get stable, hand on your thigh, grab the loop, feel the pushing forward with the legs, and then we're gonna pull and return. Good, and as best we can, trying to have both hip bones pointing forward so we're not rotating away from the front leg. So that involves some inner thigh for this front leg and then some work from the obliques to keep us square. It's like the spiral going on, opposite spirals in upper and lower body. Good, now reach the arm out and go into your hammer curls, thumb to shoulder. Good, that's it. Keeping the tips of the ribs, drawing gently down. Okay, now when you're ready, we're gonna alternate, going as fluidly as possible to our straight arm pull and then our bicep curl. That's it, we pull back and then we curl. Yes, you want to keep the carriage moving without feeling like you're relying on momentum. It's kind of this happy medium of being in control but not getting stuck. Last two. Very good. Last time doing both positions. Whew. Okay. Now we'll go into our triceps. So slight lean forward, very slight. Elbow pulls back, and then we just swing the fist back and forth. Whew. Good, and I can feel this front hamstring working like crazy to keep my legs stable. So it's much harder than it looks. Back and forth. So good, couple more. Get that arm as far behind you as you can for 2, abs are lifted. Last one. All right, last but not least, hold whichever loop you like. Aim your fingers towards the ceiling. Pull the thumb towards you a little bit, and then we go up and down. Very good. This is another one where you want to try to keep the motion going rather than pausing. It's much harder to get started again once we lose the flow here. That's it. Very good. Feel this back glute, nice and active. 2 more. Last one. And then go ahead and rest. Very good. Okay, set your strap down. Bring your knees back underneath you. Okay, very good. So next, we're gonna do a little bit of an elephant kind of knee stretch series. So we need our foot bars. Bring them all the way up. And then I'm gonna go for kind of a medium heavy tension. So I'm gonna do 1 red, 1 blue. You could do 2 reds or even just a single red to change it up. So let's come up into an elephant start position up on high half toe. So just a small propping up of your heels. If you go too high, it's going to work against you. So wrap your fingers around the foot bar, get your wrists nice and neutral, and then tip your hips back so there's slightly more weight in your legs. Okay, very good. Now back is nice and long. We're just going to take some simple elephant stretches to get us moving. So as flat of a back as you can get. We're going to inhale to push out, exhale to come in. Very good. Now it's tempting to go into more of a plank position, but try not to. If your springs are heavier, you definitely won't be planking right here. Okay, my tailbone is up to the ceiling. Very good. Couple more times. Feel your abdominals and your hip flexors working to pull the machine back in. Okay, now pause with your feet underneath you. We're going to bend the knees down and then up. That's all. So think kind of like 80-20 weight distribution. I've got 80% of the weight in my legs, 20% in my arms. So they are sharing the load, but the legs have a little bit more. Good. Keep your back nice and long, so don't go so low that you round. Let's do 2 more. Squeeze the thighs up. Good. Now pause with your knees bent, long spine. You're going to kick the legs back and forth. So now here's our plank. Out and in, come into the stopper and stretch and bend your legs. So this is kind of our break. We go up and down and then kick the carriage out and in. Very good. Smoothing that switch of in and out and up and down. Very good. Okay, a couple more times. Lifting the kneecaps up to straighten. Okay, on the next press out to plank, you're going to stay there and go continuously with the legs. Push and pull. So the heavier your springs are, the harder it is to go out. The lighter they are, the harder it is to come back. Whew. For 2. For 1, now come into your bent knees and then stretch back up to your elephant. Okay, pause for a second, maybe roll your wrists out. Very good. All right, now we're going to stay in that kind of plank and knee stretch position and do some more single leg stuff. So let's come on back. You can start from your elephant if that's helpful. Okay, find that 80-20 spread and then bend the knees. I'm going to push the carriage out, and as I do that, I'm going to march one knee up towards the foot bar, and then as I return the carriage, I set the foot back, and then I switch, march, and in. So there's this smooth transition of 1 foot to 2 feet. Out, in. And my spine and my pelvis really stay. It's my legs that are moving out from under me. Very good. So now it's twice as much weight for that pushing leg. Good. Now pause with one knee up. We're going to do a mountain climber. So as I bend the carriage in, I stretch my free leg back and then switch. Same leg back and forth. Good. Out and in. 2 more times. So good. Last one. Now place the foot down with 2 bent knees and we'll switch right away to the other side. So I push away and march and then I float the leg in and out. Very good. See if you can reach the leg up in line with your spine on a diagonal. Good. 2 more. Strong shoulders. Last one. Set the foot down. Stretch the knees. And then come on down. Oh, very good. That was some tricky coordination. Nicely done. All right, we are going to finish with our feet in the straps. So I'm going to do 2 reds. If you like lighter, you could do a red and a blue. And then you can lay down on your back. Grab your straps again. Okay, so push off the foot bar. Get your legs situated in the straps. Good. So find parallel through the hips. Get centered on your carriage. Widen your shoulders. And then just lift and lower your legs a few times to kind of get us settled here. Good. So inhaling as far as you can keep heavy with your sacrum on the mat. And then release. Very good. When the tail stays down, we get opposition to lengthen the hamstrings as much as possible. All right, now speaking of lengthening the hamstrings, we're actually going to challenge and work the hamstrings a little bit more. So now float up to that spot that's as high as you can go with your hips down. Knees are barely soft. Now this is kind of a mind trick, so take it slow. You're going to leave your left foot up to the ceiling. That rope will go slack. My right leg will push to a scissor, and then I'll meet back up towards the sky. And then I do the other side. So the leg that stays behind, the rope goes floppy, and then both feet are side by side with both ropes tight. So it's another example of doubling up the spring tension, since we're doing a single leg. Good. It's much harder to control and keep the leg in line with your hip this way. Good. If it's too intense, you just continue lifting and lowering both legs. Good. Let's do one more time on either side. Whew. Very good. Okay, now send both legs back down. Okay, have your head rest flat. We are going to do some rollovers with some kind of unique leg positions. So let's just learn this leg position first. So you may have done it before. One leg is going to bend to parallel tabletop as the other leg floats up and then push away. Now, different from that last exercise, our legs are sharing the spring tension because both ropes are tight. So this one doesn't feel as intense on the backs of the legs. And we alternate, okay? If what we do next is ever too much, you just come back to here, all right? So this is going to take a lot of stability and ab strength, which is why it's in our intermediate and advanced class, okay? So here we go. You're going to bend one knee into tabletop and hold. So we find this position. Now I feel the backs of my legs turned on. I'm going to tuck under, leave my legs in this same shape, and roll over in this position. Good. Now at the top, I keep my tight ropes and I switch which leg is bent and straight. Now I start to roll down, push a little harder into my bent leg foot, and then both of my legs reach out on the diagonal. Good. Now I do that again. So try to alternate each time. Which knee bends first? You curl up. I switch my legs at the top. I roll down and I push both legs out long. Good. Couple more times. So for example, I'm bending my right leg at the start. I'm curling up in that position. I switch so my left leg is bent. I roll down here. And then I push both legs together. Now I start on my left leg again first, so I'm alternating. So left knee bends, I curl up using my abdominals, I reach up on a diagonal, switch the legs, curl down, and push into the heel. Whew, so good. Let's do that 2 more times. Curl up, and if you're getting confused about which leg does what, no worries. You do the same leg a couple times. It's not the end of the world. Just try to get that transfer of one foot to the other at the top. Very good. So much harder to keep the hips stable than in our normal short spine. Okay, reach your feet to the ceiling, grab the ropes, and pull to stretch our hamstrings. That was a lot of hammies. Good. You can kind of bend and stretch one knee and then the other. Good. All right, bend and take your feet out. Come up, and we're going to finish with one last stretch. So get to a single red spring. Get into a single thigh stretch position. So outside foot on the floor, stepped forward. Okay, come up tall, squeeze your back glute, and then stretch back and forth, keeping as tall as you can. Good, so we're exhaling to go out, inhale in. Okay, now if you'd like to get a little stretch for the back of your body, when the carriage comes in, you're gonna flex your spine and round, softening your elbows. And then when you push back, you're gonna look up and extend. So I flex and pull the knee under, and then push away, lifting up without letting my abs disconnect. Good. 2 more times. Lift and then curl. All right, now the next time I curl into that ball, I'm going to sit back, lift my bottom toes off the floor, lengthen my back out a little bit, and just hinge for a hamstring stretch on the bottom leg. Good. All right, help yourself up, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, so here we go. Lift up tall. We stretch just the back hip a couple times. Very good. Okay, and then almost like a cat stretch combination, we're going to round on the way in, extend on the way out. Good, and just start playing around with how you can find that deepening of your abdominals as you curl and up. So good. Okay, now the next time you round into a ball, we're going to keep the carriage in, lift our toes up, stretch your back out, and sit towards your heel. Good. If you're on a short reformer like mine and you can grab your foot, you're welcome to pull the toes back a little bit. All right. And with that, we are done. Thank you so much for joining me for today's workout. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like down below. Leave me a comment if you have any feedback or requests for future videos, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, and please share this video with a friend, and I will see you next time. Bye.